Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob. We are in the middle, or kind of not. We are in the middle, I suppose, but it's almost at the end of the first round of the playoffs, I guess, if you want to put it that way. In the PGA, and Lucas Glover just shit his pants. So Patrick Cantlay has the lead, so he's probably going to win. I heard a really crazy stat a couple minutes ago before I jumped on that Patrick Cantlay has won 3 of the last 5 playoff events. And if he wins today, that'll be 4 out of 6.
He's he's everything Xander Schauffele isn't.
Yeah.
Because Schauffele's like good enough at the Tour Championship, but doesn't win anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cantlay won. He won the BMW last year. So he won 2 playoff events the year before.
Yeah, 2021.
That I know that's the year he won the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, because he won the BMW and the Tour Championship, I think.
Okay. So he's looking for a 3-peat next week.
Yes.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's a really exciting guy. I can't wait.
Yeah, fantastic. But I've been thinking about potentially getting this guy on the podcast, but there's a guy that I follow on Twitter. His name is Nate from the We Know Fantasy podcast. It was just started out like one of those random things. Like he was commenting on my golf picks throughout the year. He hasn't really commented in the last like month because my picks have been absolutely fucking garbage trash.
It's the worst type of trash.
Yeah, I know. And he so him and I were just like going back and forth. We like tweet each other from time to time. And he was on Cantlay this week. And I liked Cantlay in my model. And which before someone's like,
we're modeling now.
We're modeling now.
Yeah, we're modeling.
I have a subscription to BetSperts Golf where you can like build your own thing. So I literally I read a couple articles about what's important at the course, and then I just pick a couple stats and like that's the model. I don't like sit down and fucking do this. Like BetSperts Golf puts it all together for me. I just pay a monthly subscription to use their service.
But why male models?
Yeah. The computers are the files are inside the computer. Yeah, so this guy Nate, like I said, I'm thinking about see if we can get him on the podcast because he does fantasy football. I think that's how his podcast started. I know the only reason I had to hesitate is because I know you don't do fantasy. I should have got him on prior when he was doing golf picks. I mean, there's still 2 weeks left in the golf season. We could figure it out, but
do it like an end of the season recap or whatever. So here's my pet peeve with the fantasy football people. I don't care. And it's like, I don't know. I think one time it was like, oh, because you follow this person, follow these people. And I think I hit okay by accident.
Yeah.
So now there's like a couple of the fantasy people. And I'm like, dude, these
12 players are set to explode this year.
Well, they have like some guy. Listen,
make sure you draft these 7 running backs.
Well, it's like, and that's the thing. Like some of these guys, they put things in a perspective that I would never think of, which is part of why I probably always sucked at it. But I just don't. I mean, I just don't care. But then the other thing too is it's like, listen, if you're going to have 100 teams, I don't give a shit about what you have to say about certain players. Most people have 2 teams, 1 team, maybe. Ideally 0, but and it's like, are we really going to talk? Like, that's the thing is like, I don't want to talk like fucking average draft position of fucking Zay Jones. Like,
yeah, no. Maybe, well, if anything, maybe I can talk to him and maybe we can just talk like football, right?
Or it's one of those things like,
because I would imagine he does do sports betting because he bets on golf. So he's got to bet on football.
Yeah. Or it's like, hey man, like preface, I hate fantasy and I'm never going back. but what are fucking, some of the mistakes that lead to me being in this situation and how the fuck do you avoid them? And I ain't going back, but
Right.
that'd be moderately interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. He also has a podcast. Like I think I said that right.
I'm not talking fucking
The
X's
we know fantasy, or we talk fantasy, or whatever. But yeah, he does golf betting. He does all kind. He bets on the LPGA. He has picks for like the DP World Tour some weeks too. Like he actually had a lot of success this year. He hit a bunch of picks. I'm saying like he probably hit at least 10 outrights this year. And people on Twitter give him shit because he's very public that his unit size is $5. And he just posted like a graph of his season. He's won over $2,000 this year just on golf, just on the PGA. Never mind, like he's hit a couple LPGA and DP World Tours too. So just on the PGA, he's won over $2,000, but only betting $5. So, like I said, people give him shit. We don't unit shame here. It is what it is. But
yeah, but $5 units on outrights is not
if you're betting like a 55 to 1 and hitting on it, like that's 200 and something bucks right there, right?
Never mind. If someone tells me it's like that they actually bet, say, $100 units on golf outrights, I'm going to tell you they're fucking lying.
Yeah, that's an absolute
No one can do
lie.
that.
Yeah.
And they give out 10 outrights a week. No way.
Right. If your unit size is $100, you're not betting full units on golf outrights every week. It's not happening. I forgot how we got to that. I had a point to all of that. There was a reason why I brought it up. I can't. So this guy Nate, he had Patrick Cantlay as an outright this week. He had like Tom Kim and some other people too. And I remember I liked Cantlay, right? In my model, I saw it on him and I know he's hit a bunch of outrights. And I go, I really like the Cantlay pick, but I didn't fucking pull the trigger, right? I bet on Tom Kim and I actually live bet Lucas Glover Friday night. I think he was 14 to 1. And here we are. He just shit the bed and Patrick Cantlay comes in and I don't have a Cantlay ticket. I instead bet I think it was Matt Fitzpatrick, Tom Kim, and someone else.
Well, I believe they're tied. And holy swamp ass fucking Lucas Glover. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's another thing. I already know the answer to this question. But why the fuck can we not move the fucking St. Jude to a different time of year?
Yeah.
Now,
why do you need to play in Memphis in the middle of August when it's quite literally 110 degrees?
I get it. FedEx is headquartered there. FedEx is the biggest sponsor. It's the FedEx Cup Playoffs. I get it. It is absolutely moronic. Is it Jackson, Mississippi? No, it's not. They don't play in Jackson. Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee. They're not even in Mississippi. Yeah. I'm fucking that up with a different event, which is also 1,000,000 degrees. Memphis, Tennessee. Why the fuck are we in Memphis, Tennessee the first week of August?
Yeah.
It's 1,000,000,000 degrees. Why?
Yeah.
Play the fucking FedEx. Play the FedEx St. Jude. Just make it a designated event. Play it in fucking
like May.
Any other time.
Yeah.
Maybe like a time when it doesn't typically rain a lot in Memphis.
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, right? Because they changed the whole schedule, right? Like they want to be.
Well, never mind. Yeah, and then never mind. Now New York, Boston doesn't get shit. So
right.
Fucking Olympics. Olympic golf fucked everything up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's next year, right?
We already back to Olympic. Fuck me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, only 3 years in between this time because they pushed 2020 to
God,
2021
I just don't
because of
care.
that wicked deadly virus.
I don't care about the fucking Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics is pretty fucking lame. Didn't we talk about that on the
We had
podcast at
to
one
have
point?
because I'm sick of the fucking Olympics.
That like the Olympics really aren't that cool.
No. Wow. Wow. Look, someone's going to run really fast and throw that thing really far. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
care. It's never any fucking different. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bad, but
Yeah. It's not great.
I
That's
think
for
I'm
sure.
just, I think the worst part is, uh, things that I've become a cynical prick about is preseason football. Don't care. I do
Yeah.
not
Literally do
fucking
not give a
care.
shit. I
And
will
it's
not watch
like,
1 second of preseason football.
and here we go already, like, especially with New England. Ooh, Mac looks really, really good. Didn't play. Sick.
Yeah.
Pop Douglas, watch out for him. Didn't record a catch. And people are like, whoa, it's only the first preseason game. It's like, then he should be able to make a catch against a bunch of bums.
Right. Well, he only
Oh,
played 2 snaps.
so, oh. See, this is my thing is like, I'm supposed to get fucking hyped up because the beat writers need to fucking report on something because that's their job. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like I'm a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Well,
When it comes to, yeah, well, that's the thing is I know, but then it's like when it comes to preseason football, I'm like, I cannot care less. Get me to week 1, show me the starting roster, and then show me the final fucking box score.
yeah.
And then I'll determine whether or not I give a flying fuck about Pop Douglas.
Yeah. So I because I pay zero attention to preseason football, I don't remember what the new standard operating procedure is because there's only 3 preseason games. So in the past, anyone that's not a football fan, and if I don't know how the fuck you're not a football fan if you listen to this podcast or a fan of just sports in general, it must be fucking nails on a chalkboard for you. I don't know why you continue to listen to us
They're
if you
here
don't
for the
like
strong
sports.
political opinions.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. The thoughtful insight on world fucking current events. So the preseason used to be 4 games, right? The whole shtick was the first preseason game. Everyone that played was people that were going to get cut, right? The second preseason game, maybe a couple starters would play, right? It was like maybe a couple snaps here and there, maybe a quarter. The third preseason game was the one that everyone wanted to go to because the third preseason game was when they rolled out the starters. So both teams up front, it's their starting 11. Like, barring injuries, the people that started the preseason game 3 were the same people that were going to start in week 1, like to a T. Again, they probably only played the first half, and the second half was the backups again. And then the fourth preseason game was like the starters
Bums.
didn't even dress so half the time. Like I remember there was a couple times like, Brady was wearing a fucking hat and t-shirt on the sideline for the fourth preseason game.
Yeah, usually the third string quarterback would play the whole game. That was like
And then everyone that played in the fourth game would then get cut on Monday.
yeah, it was like the Jacoby Brissett had a game. Danny Etling had a game because it was always he always used to be against the Giants too.
Yeah. So now that there's one less preseason game, there's only 3. I don't know if the second preseason game is the one that's like more important to people. I have no idea. I still won't watch it, and I won't want because I didn't watch last year. I won't watch this year.
Here's the actual thing. None of it's important.
No, it's not.
Give me the 53-man roster.
Right.
Give me the practice squad.
Is it 55 now? Did they go up to 55?
I don't know. This is another thing. The fucking NFL, like when
or maybe they expanded the practice squad instead.
They definitely did that. They did a lot of things during COVID that was weird.
And they did some things this past offseason. Like they instituted the emergency quarterback rule.
Yeah, but it's like but it's not just like the emergency quarterback either. It's like they have to be on the roster, but you can dress them and they're not the 53, but they got to be on the 53. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why the fuck why does it have to be so complicated? And it's like they did something where you can have like 2 practice squad elevations per game that don't count against your 53, but carry the 9, touch blue, make it true. And they can go back to the practice squad after the game. I'm like, this is so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
If you want to expand the roster, just expand the fucking roster.
I think the real reason why they don't is because of money. So I think like if someone is technically counted as you're on the roster, you make more money, right? And you count more money toward it. Then you get into like the cap and you get the whole.
How about this?
You get the
if
whole
you want the
of that.
players to play football, then fucking pay them.
Yeah, no, that's
don't
totally
ask
fair.
them to play football.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't
with
get
you.
like I do not fucking for 1 second give a flying fuck about the owners. If you want that football player to play football for your football team, then pay them as a football player. Period.
Right.
Not this fucking on the practice squad, but it's an elevation and we can do 2 of these before they have to be permanent. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
It's literally like trying to explain the basketball playoffs. It's like just fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's all ways to get around.
And that's the thing is like everyone's getting excited about the preseason. I'm the asshole that's like none of it matters. And I tell everyone, I go, I'm a prick, but like I go, hey, Pop Douglas, he sounded good, hasn't he? Yeah. I'm excited to see him play. I go, he probably won't. And guess what?
Right.
He didn't. In Keyshawn Butte or whatever the fuck his last name is.
Booty.
Two catches for 7 yards. It's like these guys can't fucking get passes against bums.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask them to play against the starting NFL defense? Nope. It's going to be Parker, Juju, Bourne.
And then it'll be Gesicki and Henry.
Gesicki, well, tight ends. So you got those 3. I'm missing a 4th. There's a 4th receiver. Thornton. Thornton will be the 4th. Because even though, Thornton doesn't look good, he might get cut. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, guess what? No one's pushing him. So he's making the team. So you're probably going to get one of those guys, if not both, on the active roster, because I don't think either of them clear waivers. And then they're not going to play. Yeah. And then people will get hurt, and they'll be like, oh, now it's their time. They've been ready. They've been practicing. And then the lights will be too fucking bright for them. I already know it. Like, it fucking writes itself. There you go. Patriots wide receiver at fucking I just gave you the scenario. And that's the thing is I actually think with the 4 of them, like the 4 actual like NFL receiver, 3.5 NFL receivers, I actually don't hate them because the team's not good enough to fucking do the things that people think they're good enough to do.
Right.
So you may as well just roll them with those guys and at least they're fucking NFL players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not fucking 6th round picks with attitude issues or height issues.
Right. The issue, not to get too deep into like X's and O's, but your 3 top wide receivers, they're all slot guys. I know Devontae Parker is like 6'4", whatever, but he's a slot guy. He's just a really tall slot. So everyone's like, oh yeah, Parker and it's gonna look good. And you got Juju and Kendrick Bourne. It's like, yeah, guess what? They all play the same position.
Yeah, but if
you're going to force Devontae Parker to play on the outside,
he can play outside because he can go up and get the ball. He like this is the thing. If you let him, he will.
Right.
But you had the fucking rocket surgeon fucking doing offense last year. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I mean, Juju's a decent wide receiver. He's not a number 1, right? And he's a slot guy.
What does this team do with a 1? This is the same conversation. So these are the conversations I've had at work. They don't do anything with a 1. They don't know how to use a 1. They can't use a 1. They can't. They're not going to. There's no point of having a 1 here.
Well, the one thing I will say is that if anybody were going to craft a Patriots offense with a number 1 wide receiver, it would be Bill O'Brien. I actually think I prefer Bill O'Brien's offense over Josh McDaniels. And now everyone's going to be like, oh, they're basically the same thing. They're not actually, because Tom Brady, when he first popped, when that offense started actually exploding, that was a Bill O'Brien offense. Now, I will acknowledge that it was Randy Moss was on this team at that point, and Randy Moss is arguably one of, if not the greatest wide receiver of all time, right? I know it's Jerry Rice, but someone could make the argument Randy Moss is in the discussion. So how much of that was the team had Randy Moss and how much of that was Bill O'Brien crafting his offense? But I think we've for the last 2 decades, right? We've spent probably at least half, right? I don't know how long Josh McDaniels, I know he had 2 different stints, right, with the team. He, over the last 20 years, he has to have accumulated at least 10 years, right? Probably 10 to 12 years as offensive coordinator. We know what his offense is. It's the fucking dink and dunk bullshit. Hit the screen, right? So this is just purely an anecdote, but I listened to the Kelsey Brothers podcast when Julian Edelman was on it, and Edelman told the story about how when they played Philly, I think it was in I think it was the regular season. I don't think it was the Super Bowl, but Edelman tells a story. It was the play where they swung it out wide to him, and then he turned and threw a touchdown to Phil. Who was that? Who was that wide receiver? He came from the Colts.
Oh, Phil Dorsett.
Phil Dorsett. Yeah. So he threw a touchdown pass to Phil Dorsett. So Edelman's telling the story about that play. And he said the night before in the hotel, they're practicing that play. And the play was Edelman was supposed to throw the ball back across the field to the running back in the flat as a screen. And Edelman's like, I'm in there. I get the ball and I look and I see Phil and I just look, and Josh pulls me aside and goes, don't you fucking do that in the game. He goes, throw the ball to the fucking screen. Just throw the screen. And like that, to me, in a nutshell, is the Josh McDaniels offense, right? He's telling his players, whether it's the quarterback or Julian Edelman on a trick play, just throw the fucking screen. Just hit the screen guy. That's all it was. It was a barely a step above Willie Taggart, right? the horizontal offense. So that was the McDaniels offense, right? I think the Bill O'Brien offense, I think, is a little bit better, right? If you look at O'Brien, Simon, Houston, he had DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins did pretty well for himself while he was there, right? So yes, your argument, I think more than 50% of the last 2 decades, what is this team going to do with a number 1 wide receiver? The answer is nothing. It's going to be a waste. However, I think the way the current circumstances are with Bill O'Brien, a number 1 wide receiver would actually be useful.
Yes. But then it doesn't do anything for the team because the team's not good enough.
Well, the offense isn't good enough. The defense is going to be very good. The defense was very good last year. It's going to be very good again this year. I think if they had a number 1 wide receiver, the offense would be slightly better. It's going to come down to the offensive line, right? When Mac Jones was a rookie, he looked good, right? Not great, right? Everyone around here, again, if you've been following us long enough, we're not Patriots bobos, right? We're not here being like all the other people in New England. We're like, oh, Mac Jones, his rookie year, right? Everyone was like, oh, Tom who? No, Mac's the next guy. He's the guy. And then last year he falls apart and everyone's so quick to go zap, 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 Bailey Zappi. Like, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, Mac looks good. Mac looks great. We still don't know. We still don't know. He looked good as a rookie, right? Like if you told me his rookie year, I think we said this on the podcast. What is the career trajectory for Mac Jones, his rookie year? I think I probably would have told you like Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, like that realm, right? Where like at his peak, he would be like the bottom of the top 10 in the league, right? That is Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, but most likely live in that somewhere of like 10 to 15 range of like best quarterback in the league, which can you win a Super Bowl? Yeah, you can. Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl. So Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. And these guys are recently, right? I'm not going all the way back to Trent Dilfer. Everyone's like, oh, of course a shitty quarterback could win a Super Bowl. Look at Trent Dilfer. It was a different game. 2000, the NFL in 2000 was a completely different game. But like, you can't win with a shitty quarterback now. Can you win with a mediocre quarterback? Yes, you can. Like I said, the Rams proved that. The Ravens proved that. The 49ers almost proved it, right? They came close, but they had the worst quarterback when it came to Pat Mahomes. And then ultimately last year they lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game because they didn't have a quarterback at all. But I think you can win with Mac Jones. I think you can win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones.
I don't think you get out of this AFC.
That doesn't mean that I think the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying Mac Jones is capable of winning a Super Bowl. If you took Mac Jones and Matt Stafford and you just swapped them that same year, I think you get the exact same outcome on both sides. I think the Rams still win the Super Bowl with Mac Jones as their quarterback. And the Patriots still suck dick with Matt Stafford as their quarterback. In my mind, they're equals, right? They live in that 8 to 15 range. The best they're ever going to be is the 8th best quarterback in the NFL, which is fine, right? Like you could win a Super Bowl with that. Again,
if Mac Jones this year is 2021 Matt Stafford, you still don't get out of the AFC.
Well, that's the other thing that you have to contend with right now, too.
That's my main point. There's nothing this team can do.
No,
you would have had to sign probably Hopkins and Dalvin Cook. You would have need to get a top tier tackle that was on the market. So I was also going to say you need to get an offensive line that stays healthy for all 21 games.
Yeah.
Because the personnel could work. I actually think that. But if you go so you would have had to have gotten Hopkins, Cook, a healthy offensive line for 21 games. You would have needed a top 3 defense, some luck, and you need that offense to work. Because that's the other thing. Just because you sign people doesn't mean it works.
Right.
And even then, realistically, you can't do that because that's math. You can't sign those 2 guys because of math.
Right.
And it doesn't work. And then, you know what? Even with your defense for how good it was last year, and how okay it was the year before, Buffalo still picked you apart. So riddle me that one. Josh Allen has your number. And you cannot, there's no stat, there's no metric, there's no nothing that proves that. He has your fucking number. You cannot beat him. So if you meet Josh Allen in the playoffs, you're not winning. And if you meet Mahomes in the playoffs, all he is a better Josh Allen. He's the best Josh Allen, if you will.
Yeah.
So never mind their coach. Right now, he's coaching circles around you. Because he's the one.
Andy Reid
is the one who's winning things.
Is probably right now the best head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as what Belichick did. It's like he's riding the hot quarterback, the quarterback that bails him out a lot because Andy Reid still sucks with the fucking clock.
Yeah.
But his quarterback bails him out, which is what Brady did for 20 years.
Truthfully, I don't know if, like, right now on August 13th, 2023, I don't know if I would put Bill Belichick in the top 3 coaches in the NFL. He's probably in the top 5, but I would probably go Andy Reid, and then it's a toss-up between Doug Peterson and John Harbaugh for me. I think Doug Peterson, what he was able to do last year with the Jacksonville fucking Jaguars was unbelievable, right? Did he win Coach of the Year last year? If he didn't, he should have.
I don't know.
Because that team the year before with Urban Meyer, it was the exact same team.
Oh, that was a dumpster fire.
It was the exact same team. And then he comes in the next
Well,
year.
Didn't they sign all the receivers? They had an important free agent class. I know that. ETN was hurt all the year before.
Yep.
And Trevor Lawrence wasn't a rookie anymore. So
I mean, if anybody, but they signed Christian Kirk. Like,
well,
he was
Kirk.
the number 2 wide receiver on Arizona.
They signed Kirk. They signed Zay Jones.
Zay Jones is a nobody.
This is their offense. Jones, Kirk, and Ingram. That is their offense.
Right. Evan Ingram is he's a very good receiving tight end.
And Travis Etienne didn't play the year before. Their entire offense wasn't there the year before.
Right.
So, and I think they lost DJ Chark. That's who was there previously. I think he went to Detroit. So the offense was completely different. But then they also had a good, like, Doug Peterson is a good offensive coach. If Andy Reid's 1, Doug Peterson's probably 2.
Yeah.
And then their defense played well. I don't know if they signed a bunch of guys on defense. I'm not sure if they did or didn't. I know they've had some guys that stepped up and played well. But the only thing that gets a little overshadowed, for as good as, like, again, like Andy Reid's got to be 1 right now.
Yeah.
But like what Belichick is doing with this defense has been pretty remarkable the last couple of years, because the offense has done nothing. Right. Absolutely and utterly nothing. So to be able to play the kind of defense they're playing, I mean, he's probably not 1, 2. I mean, I'd have to actually look at a list of coaches. I still think he's better than Harbaugh right now, because when Harbaugh doesn't have players, they don't do anything. They're just a middling fringe playoff team. Like, I think Tomlin's a better coach than fucking Harbaugh.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Tomlin's up there. I might. Yeah,
but I'd have to actually see a list of coaches.
Tomlin's been coaching the Steelers, I think, for 10 years, and he's never had a losing season as a head coach. Like Bill Belichick has had 3.
Something like that.
With the Patriots in 20 years. Mike Tomlin has coached the Steelers for like 10 or 11 years and never had a losing season. Like, that's pretty impressive.
You know what's even more impressive? It's been more like 16 years.
For Tomlin?
I think Bill Cowher coached in 2006, and that was his last year. I think Tomlin's been there since 2007.
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's see. Mike Tomlin. Tomlin is only their 3rd head coach since 1969.
Yeah, it's crazy. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher.
Yeah, and then Mike Tomlin. Let's see. He started in 2007. Yeah, he became the head coach. So what is that? Is that 16 years?
16 years, probably 16 seasons.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts.
But until you show that you can beat the Bills, until you show that you can beat the fucking Dolphins, how about you figure that one out first?
Yeah.
Because you can't even beat the Dolphins. We're talking Bills and fucking Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bills, Chiefs, Bengals. They should have beat the Bengals last year. We're talking Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, and you can't even beat the Dolphins. You can't even beat the Jets without a fucking punt return, and now they have a quarterback.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think the Bills are the worst matchup, right? I think the Chiefs, even though Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, not that long ago, we almost beat them with Brian Hoyer at quarterback, right? So I think in a head-to-head matchup, I think Belichick can outwit Reed.
He can.
Or
He's shown how to. He's shown that he can scheme defensively against them.
right.
But
He hasn't figured out
once the levee
Josh
breaks, the
Allen and the
levee
Bills yet.
breaks.
Well, yeah. Josh Allen has, outside of his rookie year and I think his sophomore year, I think his first 2 seasons
Since the Hurricane game in 2021, it's
since
been four straight matchups of complete and utter ass kicking.
Yeah. So since he figured out how to play football, because he was not good as a rookie and he still kind of sucked in his second year. And then his third and fourth year, last year was his fourth year. His third and fourth years were really fucking good. Last year was either 4 or 5.
Last year was 5.
5, yeah. So his first 2 years were not good. So
I just want to bet on football games again.
yeah, same.
I don't even care. The Patriots are gonna suck, and I don't even fucking care.
I haven't even been paying attention to golf, and it looks like Lucas Glover's on 18.
I think he saved par on 17.
He might be going. We might be getting bonus golf.
Fleetwood did not win.
He did not. Rory shooting a 65 on Sunday to finish T3. Classic fucking Rory move.
Yeah,
that really is the ultimate Rory move.
Yeah, it looks like Lucas Glover's on 18.
Yeah.
Tied? I think he's tied.
Yeah. So speaking of golf, how did your rounds go this week? You had since we were last on, right? You had Blackstone on Wednesday and then the club championship Friday.
So shot 85 at Blackstone, I think. So I didn't make shit. Got into some 3 putts at the end, but I also ran into some issues of tees being moved around. Obviously, I don't know the course that well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I hit some good balls and then they ended up just like in bad places, hazards, penalties, shit like that. So didn't play well enough there. 75 would have made the cut. That's kind of what I thought. It still would have taken a really good round to shoot 75. And then Friday club championship qualifying. So I did qualify, got the 7 seed. I shot 79 and I had to play a college player. So he's at Skidmore, which is, I mean, it's Division 3.
Yeah.
Which for college golf, it doesn't matter as much like which division you play. The only things that you know is if someone's Division 1 and someone's Division 3, the Division 3 player is probably not 6'2", 6'3", and probably doesn't swing at 120, 125.
Right.
So like that's probably the biggest difference, is more sheer just power off the tee.
Yeah.
Because anyone can putt and anyone can chip. I think right now that's probably the biggest difference in whatever. It also hurts being from Massachusetts, whatever. So he's like a +1, +1.5 handicap, something like that. I lost to him 5 and 4. He was 2 under through 15.
Wow.
And I was like 5 over, which is, I mean, that's pretty good for me being 5 over at that point.
Yeah.
I mixed a double in there and I mostly lost to birdies. So there's not really much to be like.
Yeah.
Like he mostly beat me on birdie. I mean, like we traded some, it started out with a pillow fight. Like we alternated par wins for the first 4 holes. And then it's like he birdied 5. He held that lead, got it. I think he got another one on 8. Then I hit it to 3 feet on 9. I made that. So it was 2 down at the turn. He was even. I was 2 over at the turn, which again, I'll take that any day.
Yeah.
Then he birdied 10. I doubled 11. want to say we probably halved 3-4. And he birdied 5 to end it. I think that's probably how it went.
Yeah.
So qualified, but I'm out. And the only thing I have left is the US Mid-Am, which I don't have a chance of getting through on that. So I'm just going to enjoy 2 rounds at Great Horse.
Where's that at?
Fucking Springfield area.
Oh, Jesus Christ. As long as it's not Chicopee or Holyoke.
No, so it's in Hampton.
Okay,
It's in Hampton. So
Northampton?
No, not Hampton. Hampton.
Oh, Hamden. Yeah.
No, there's a
Hamden.
P. See, everyone keeps saying it's Hamden, but there's a P in there.
Yeah, it's
I
Massachusetts.
better not be
man.
going fucking crazy.
No.
No. Because you know how many people have said to me,
it's Hamden.
there's a P, Hampton.
Yeah, it's silent.
When the fuck did the P become fucking...
When does anything in Massachusetts make sense? Worcester looks like Worcester. It's Peabody, not Peabody.
Plimpton. No, there's no P
Plimpton.
there. No, there is no P there.
It's Hamden.
The P is fucking silent? That's bullshit.
It is.
That's absolute bullshit. Hampton. Whatever. It's basically a fucking made up place anyway.
Yeah.
Springfield area. But yeah, I mean, so I was eligible to get in. Great Horse is it's a newer course. It's supposed to be like this crazy thing with like they have a lot of national members, so it's like cottages and condos and helicopter pads and fucking crazy ass shit like that.
Yeah.
But only 3 people get through.
Oh god.
And dude, there's people in this thing that are going to be every bit of +4, +5 handicaps.
Is this a tournament that throughout the process would get you to like the US Open?
No, it would get me to the US Mid-Am, which is the tournament that Parziali won that got him to the Masters.
Okay. So there is a qualifier to actually like play at some legit courses.
Yeah. Well, actually, so I guess through the transitive property, yes, you can get to the US Open because if you qualify, so 3 people get through and it's no ties. It's a playoff. So 3 people only.
Yep.
That goes to the event. It's in the New York area this year. So if you go to that New York event, there's probably 300 guys. Top 64 make match play. Then it's matches all the way through. If you come out on top as victor, you get an exemption into the following year's Masters, US Open, US Am. Things that I will not have to worry about because I am not nearly good enough.
Yeah.
Because even if, because usually it's one of those things like, oh, even if you have like a 1 in 1,000 round or a 1 in 100 round, it's not good enough.
Right.
I know it's not.
Yeah, if you go out and shoot a 69.
There's a dude in the field that played in the 2020 Wyndham as a professional, and he regained his amateur status, and now he does this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm strictly signed up to play.
Just to see the course.
I'm strictly signed up to play the place. Now, if it doesn't rain on Wednesday, I get 2 rounds there because that's my practice round and then the tournament round.
Nice.
And if it's something where I do it once and I don't like that high of stake, I just won't sign up ever again. I'm not signing up next year. I already know that with the wedding. So,
right.
Unless it's an unbelievable course that's a little more local.
Yeah.
Then I would consider
the international.
Fuck that. No,
didn't that go private again? Isn't it private now?
No, I've played there. It's fucking average. It's in Bolton too. It's like I mean, like when I say I mean convenient, I'm talking within 45 minutes. Like if there's a qualifier in the Newton, Weston, Wellesley area or South Shore, like actual South Shore.
Right.
Like But even if it was like TPC Boston, I wouldn't play that. I go, it's gonna be way too fucking hard, and it's a course I've played before. Like I'm good.
Right.
So that would be the only way, would be to get to a course that I wouldn't want to play. That's a little more local. That's the only way. I'll do it next year.
Fair enough. So when that's next this week?
So practice round Wednesday, and then the actual tournament's the 21st, which is a Monday.
Nice. Yeah, next Monday, a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, so that makes sense as to why you're not going to play on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not playing Shining Rock on that Sunday. No.
Yeah, you have a fucking round the next day. Yeah, it'll be good. It should be fun. I liked Shining Rock. Me and Vinny played it last year. That's a nice course.
Yeah, from anyone I know, it's been, everyone seems to like it.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even going to come close to playing it from the tips, but if you do, it has one of the longest par fives in New England.
Oh, wow. Awesome. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's like 616 yards or something like that, which is really fucking dumb. When we play it, it'll probably be like 500.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I would love to play at 600.
Yeah.
Although it is more in the center of the state, so maybe you get 250 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
So the ball maybe will go 0.25% further.
Yeah.
That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I forget. I'll have to look back and see what I shot last year. I basically just want to beat it. I played today at Acushnet River Valley this morning with Neil and his dad and his dad's buddies. Really, really nice course. I would go back in a heartbeat, but I got absolutely fucking bent over. I shot a 98, and I looked at because I keep score on 18 birdies, and I had 7. That's right. 1 more than 6, 1 less than 8. I had 7 penalties today. I lost 7 balls.
Did you find yourself in any of the situations where not only did you hit into a penalty, so you're dropping and now you're hitting 3, and then from 3, you have to like punch out from there, and you can only advance the ball like, I don't know, 60 yards. So now you're hitting 4 from like 180 out on a par 4?
Not quite that situation.
Oh, okay. Just me at Blackstone, sick.
Yeah. But the very first hole, I had 2 penalties. I lost the tee ball, and then I skull fucked one over the green into the marsh, and then I just picked up, and I was like, I'll take the 8, and I'm going to go on with my life. So it was not a great way to start out. I just didn't have it today. I had a 2-way miss off the tee with the driver. I had one great driver shot where I was downwind, right? But I hit, I think it was 294. I absolutely smashed the driver, and it was pretty windy downwind. So like I said, that was one drive that went 294. Everything else was, I stepped up to the tee and I had no idea if it was going to go left or right. Some of them were way left, some of them were way right. Like it was just one of those days. I just didn't have it off the tee today. But my biggest issue with this course was the greens and around the greens, because every green is like, I don't know how to, I guess you would say it's elevated, but they're not elevated from the fairways. It's like over the back of the greens, it's a massive drop off, right? So it's like, would you consider that elevated? Or like plateaued, maybe? I don't know what you would call that.
I mean, if it's not elevated from the fairway, but it's drop off in the back, I guess it's just a drop off in the back.
Yeah, so there was a fuck ton of greens that were just drop off in the back, and I was long over the green. let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 holes. I was over the back of the green. Whether it was a tee shot on a par 3 or an approach on a 4 or a 5. Like, how often does that happen where you're long of the green 8 times, right? Like, I feel like most people are short, myself included, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
generally
typically,
people end up short.
in my game too, I typically don't hit the ball over the back of the green, usually. But I got fucked again. 8 holes. I was over the back of the green with a massive drop off. And of those 8 times, I would say at least half of them. So 4, I was short sided, right? It was a back pin. And most of the greens are sloped back to front. So I had literally, there was nothing I could do. I had to hit a shot, 20 feet in the air just to get it onto the green. And then the slope is just going to take it. And it was already a back pin, right? So I may have only had 12 yards from my ball to the pin, but I had to go up like 20 to 25 feet. So it was just, I don't have that shot, right? Like I don't know how to do that. I had a lot of downhill lies, which fucked me. Again, I've realized today I am not good on a downhill lie. That's probably something I need to practice. I don't know how I would practice that because the mats on a driving range are flat. But maybe I could do it in my backyard because there's plenty of fucking hills in my backyard. But yeah, the over the back of the green being short-sided and downhill lies were my undoing today. But I mean, all things considered, right? Like I had 7 penalty strokes and I shot a 98. So like if you take those penalty strokes away, it's a 91. And that's right around where I would have hoped to be, right? Like if you had told me I would have gone out today and shot a 92, I would have been like, all right, cool. But if you told me I would have gone out and shot an 88, I would have been like, all right, cool. Like typically I'm somewhere in that range now. It's like somewhere between an 88 and a 92 is kind of like where I live with my scores. So I guess outside of those penalty strokes, I was like kind of where I would have expected, but like I got fucking croaked. So just obviously stuff that I'm not good at, right? But what can you do? Such as golf.
Yep.
I would definitely go back. Like I said, it was a really, really cool course. The front is like a tight tree lined, like Parkland style, and then the back is it's obviously it's called links. It's not links, right? But it's the back is completely wide open. There's not a fucking tree on the course on the back, so it's pretty cool. It's like 2 totally different courses.
I'll play the back twice.
Yeah, well, me too. I went 51-47. So I preferred the back as well. But so there you have it. That's a Acushnet River Valley. If you're ever in the area, any of our listeners, I highly recommend checking it out. So you want us to wrapping this up?
We can wrap this up. So Michaela and I went out to Davio's on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all ready because I always get the short ribs there, and the short ribs are really good. And I was all ready to get something different, anything different, anything. Couldn't do it. And it's like, it's funny because I know we don't go there like super often. We're like, I don't know, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. But I'm like, I always feel
The
so
one in
compelled.
Dedham or Foxborough?
We went to Braintree.
Okay.
Um, and it's like I always want to get something different, but I can never pull the trigger when it actually comes down to it. And I'm sitting there thinking, how fucking idiotic is this? Is that I'm sitting at a restaurant where the food is going to be good no matter what, and I'm having like a fucking internal crisis about what to do because it's like I really want to try something different. Now I have had some other stuff from there, like the gnocchi's good. I think I've had the bolognese before, unless we ordered that from somewhere else. I don't remember. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, what a fucking problem this is. I can't figure out what to order at a place that no matter what is
It's
gonna
going to
be
be
good.
good. Yeah.
And I'm like, so ultimately I just went with the short ribs again. I didn't want like I was like, I can't pull the trigger on something else. I just can't do it. But I'm like, what an absolutely stupid and insignificant mental exercise I just went through. Trying to find something else, full knowing that it's like, why? Like, why are you doing this? It's like it's just like such a fucking clown move. I was thinking that when we were there the other night. Although we did get the calamari for the first time. Calamari was really good. And the short ribs are good like always.
Yeah. What do they come with? Is it like a risotto or is that
Mashed
like a
potatoes and crispy onion strings.
oh
Yeah, dude, it's good. It's good. Probably
yeah.
pay for it. I don't even know what they are. Like it's Davio's a little expensive, but
Well, yeah, I mean, but you know you're gonna get good. Like I would imagine if I were gonna go to Davio's and get short ribs, I would imagine to pay probably like $40 for a
yeah,
plate.
could be something like yeah, it might be a little
Which is
more than
like
that.
a touch expensive, but like whatever. Again, like you said, like how often do you go there? Like how
Well, that's the
it's
thing
like
is you can go if you go to Davio's and you don't want to pay a lot, then you're stuck with just the pasta dishes because they're more like the 25 to $30.
right.
So yeah, you can't really go there and then like price shop. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I was like the mental gymnastics of trying to find something different, even though there's something good right in front of you. What are you doing? Get it to fucking gather. Clean it the fuck up, will you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've had that conversation before too, right? Or maybe it was about service, where it's like people go to a restaurant and they like complain about something, or they complain about prices, right? And it's like, you know where you're going, right?
You can
Like it,
Google the menu.
yeah. And like if you're gonna go to a place like Davio's, like if I'm going to Davio's, I'm expecting to spend, if it's just Amy and I'm expecting to spend it probably around $200, right? Between dinner, if we both get a drink, obviously she is pregnant, but like in a time when she's not, if it's just the two of us going to dinner at Davio's, I would expect to spend around $200, right? Like
Yeah.
that's $100 a person type of place. And that's totally fine because I chose to go there because I really wanted to go there. I didn't have
Yeah.
to go there. I could
Nope.
have went to Applebee's, right?
That'll be
Like
cheap.
yeah, it'll be cheap. Could have went to the 99 and got wings and skins now that they're back. Shout out to the 99 that now they're, the one thing that they're only good for that's actually back. They actually have a purpose again in life. But it's just it's weird, right? Like people are like, oh, I don't know, that's expensive. All right, so don't go there, right? Like there's a place in North Attleboro called the Town Tavern and Grill, and on the weekends, I've talked about it before in the podcast. Um, I think it's Thursday, Friday nights or Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. They do prime rib, but I think it's like $40 for a prime rib, and I don't give a fuck, right? Like,
Yeah, if
am
you're
I
doing
gonna
it, you're doing it.
am I gonna sit there and be like, well, I want prime rib, but gosh darn it, I don't want to pay $40. Like, no, I want prime rib. I'm gonna
You can
fucking
cook it yourself.
yeah, like I'm gonna I'm going to pay the $40. I'm going to get a fucking delicious cut of meat, and I'm going to love every second of it.
It's like if you like, so a Capital Grill opened up or is going to open up in Dedham, and I'm sure Michaela and I will go over there one day. And it's like, I already know, like the steak I want is going to be $85, most likely.
Right. But you know that going in, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine like walking into the Capitol Grill and having like sticker shock.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea I was going to pay $85 for a steak. Really? Have you ever been to a Capitol Grill before?
Yeah.
You
Like
ever heard of them?
Like, how did you end up in this place with
Yeah.
no fucking clue as to what's going on in the world?
Yeah. Like I said, there's an Outback Steakhouse across the street. Go the fuck over there then.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know what you want here. Yeah, I always find it weird because some people do complain about that. They complain about like prices at a restaurant. It's like outside of like whatever inflation, right? Like if you want to bitch and complain about like, oh, well, you know, 6 years ago you could go get a meal for fucking $13 and now it's 24. Whatever. I'll let you. You're still a dumb, but I'll at least let you argue that. But like people that complain about going to like a nice restaurant, that it's expensive. It's like, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah, it's also optional.
Yeah, that's right too. It's optional. Like I said, you don't have to go there.
Nope.
Yeah. So shout out to Davio's. I've only been there once, I think, and I remember really enjoying it. So my final thought is potentially one of the dumbest fucking things ever. I saw this the other day is Dunkin Donuts is getting into the pre-made alcoholic beverage game, which like I feel like this is the point where we're jumping the shark on these like pre-made
spiked coffees.
Yeah. Right. But not just spiked coffees, but spiked coffees from giant coffee companies, right? Because they have spiked coffee has been a thing forever, right? And I've seen some like small brand spiked coffees that you can buy, right? Like they exist, they're out there. But now you have are they technically international? They might be in Canada. That would count. They could be an international company. They're at minimum a nationwide company. That's like, oh yeah, we're gonna start making spiked drinks. So right now it's both spiked coffee and spiked iced tea, which again, it's already been done, right? Like Arnold Palmer spiked is a thing.
Spiked iced teas?
Spiked iced
Mike's
teas.
and Twisted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've been
Twisted,
doing it for a super long time.
It's like, is it going to be better than a Mike's or a Twisted Tea? Probably not. Your coffee sucks in general, right? Like Dunkin' Donuts coffee is fucking terrible. I think we can agree on that. Like, and before people are like, oh yeah, Team Starbucks. No, Starbucks sucks too. They both suck. Go to Black Rifle Coffee, and they're not a sponsor of the show. We'll never have them as a sponsor because they have like legitimate requirements. But just go to blackriflecoffee.com and just buy that coffee. You're not going to get better coffee than that. I've been drinking their coffee for almost a decade at this point. So you have Dunkin' Donuts that makes shitty coffee, trying to get into a business area that's already saturated to make something that isn't going to be better than what already exists. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I think as is, there's already like, I mean, there's too much of everything anyway.
Yeah.
Like it used to be simple. Like if you wanted beer or if you wanted light beer, it was Coors, Miller, Bud.
Right.
Then there was some cheap stuff.
Bush.
Yeah. But then it's like, now you then Michelob Ultra comes along and then Corona comes along. And now it's like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So then the like White Claws came first, Truly's came second. Then everybody had a fucking seltzer.
And
Now
it's funny
everyone's got a fucking
because White
mixed drink
Claws
in a
and
can.
Trulies are probably the worst. It's funny because they were the first,
Yeah.
right? And now they're probably the worst too out of all of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like a lot of those like seltzers, I don't drink a lot of them. I would rather drink like the mixed drinks in a can.
Yeah, like the High Noons.
Yeah. So if we're splitting hairs on that one, I will do that because I actually do think there's a difference.
Yeah. It's
Truly fucking
White Claws are
hangovers
malt liquor, I think.
fucking crazy. The hangovers on Trulies are so fucking bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Almost Natter Day bad.
Yeah, that was terrible. Wasn't that Easter?
Yeah, the lamb.
Yeah, I threw up the lamb the next day.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much. Like, there's like so much. And I think what it'll ultimately do is like companies like High Noon are just going to crush it because it's like you walk in, there's 400 fucking choices. It's like, just give me the one I know.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like the beer thing of the past. Like you said, like you walk in and it's like, oh, this, that, I don't know, just give me the Bud Light or give me the Coors Light, right?
Or it's like, oh, I want something darker, just give me Guinness. It's like, oh, well, but there's all these other things. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Just give me the Guinness. Yeah. Yep. I agree. So yeah, I saw that the other day and was like, yeah, this is really fucking stupid. I guarantee you it'll last maybe a year and then they'll just yank it.
I don't know. The only thing that saves like alcohol is people always buy alcohol.
Yeah.
So you can almost introduce like anything and people will buy it. It's really like a beautiful thing. I wish I owned a liquor store.
Yeah, it is quite literally recession proof.
Yeah.
And actually business is booming in a recession.
Yeah.
The less money people have, the more they spend on alcohol.
Yep. That proportion goes way up.
Yeah. So I don't know. There you have it. That's going to do it for us. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Do we have a winner? Yeah.
Lucas Glover. Back to back.
Wow.
So fucking annoying.
I hit my live bet. Let's go.
That's so annoying.
Cantlay missed a long putt.
Yeah, but Cantlay also fucking splashed it off the tee.
Oh, what a loser.
Fucking loser.
So shout out to Lucas Glover. Shout out to my live bet win to 14-1 odds on Lucas Glover. You can go to mybookie.com while we're at it. I'm jumbling things around here, but it's a great segue. Go to mybookie.com, use the promo code SarcasmPod, and they will double your first deposit when you sign up over there, up to $1,000. So check that out. So yeah, like I was saying before, click subscribe up above if you're on YouTube. You can subscribe also, obviously, if you're an audio only listener. And if you happen to be listening on Apple or Spotify, you can leave us a review and 5 stars. So please and thank you. Go take care of that for me. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_Speaks, Facebook page Sarcasm Speaks, website sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. You can get links to everything in our link in the bio in Instagram. So go to that Instagram account, and then you'll see all of the affiliate links that we have in there. Shout out to Noon Brew once again, drinking it like I do basically every night. Nighttime sleep tea, whatever you want to call it, really works. It does work. Helps you sleep way better. Try it out. Use the promo code that is in the show notes. Whatever it is at this point, it keeps changing, and it's going to change again like next week. But just use those links from the bio and the show notes, and you'll get 10% off every single time you check out over there at noonbrew.com. So shout out to them, and also shout out to the icepod.com. You use the promo code below, and you will get $10 off your purchase at the Ice Pod. It's great cold plunge. I've been using it pretty frequently over the last couple of weeks since I bought mine. I thoroughly enjoy it. So shout out to the Ice Pod. Again, And I think that's it. So I think that's going to do it for us. Until next time, good night, everybody.